Today, I'll be doing a review of the newly reopened Top Thrill 2. Now, you know the story of Top Thrill 2 only being open for 1 week in 2024. I went the day that it closed. I'm still so salty about that. But now it reopened at the start of the year, and I finally got a couple rides in. I think that's a good ride, but where it places in the park is still up in the air for me, but let's begin. Let's start with how the ride looks and the whole new area around it. The whole rebranded area around Top Thrill looks incredible. The whole racing theming around the ride was not new since Top Thrill Dragster had similar theming elements, but it was just a nice facelift to the whole area. The repainting of the pathways and the little touches make this place so much better since before Top Thrill 2 rebranding, it was one of the worst and most uninteresting places in the park. And Top Thrill 2 itself looks amazing across the entirety of the park. Seeing the white and red piece of track flying into the air is stunning, and it's the first ride that you see while pulling into the park since it's so huge. And by the way, on ride, it's so much bigger than you think it is. But after you look at the ride for a while and contemplate what you're doing with your life, you get into line, and for the start of the season, it's incredibly long. Most of the time, you will start outside of the queue in this makeshift line that they have that takes so long to move through, and I just hope that it can go down in the future. But once you actually get out of that, you have to go through some metal detectors to prevent another incident. The good thing is they do have some free lockers, which is much appreciated, and I'm glad that they invested in those because I legit think that those are so nice, being able to freely put your stuff into a locker and not have to worry about it. But then after that, you enter the actual line. Nothing special, just 3 super long switchbacks. But after the annoyingly long switchbacks, you get to the actual trains and the station where you are met with the amazing Zamperla trains that have some amazing restraints. They are very similar to the modern Intamin restraints that come over your head and allow for so much room. They're impeccable. But you get locked in, the crew checks your restraints, and you are ready to begin your ride on Top Thrill 2. You roll into the switch track that then puts you onto the actual track to the swing launch, and then you're kind of just sitting there for a while. You are sitting there, and the suspense is building, and it makes it even crazier that there's a timer slowly going down, also adding to that suspense. It's the exact same light system that Dragster had, but there is another one on the tower that's very cool. You can see the countdown on the tower across pretty much the entirety of the front of the park. See how it slowly drops from different sections on the tower that they have kind of roped off. And it's pretty cool to see the timer go down. You get to the very first launch, which is probably the worst part of the ride, if I had to say. You do get up to 70 miles per hour, which is a decent speed, but it takes like 5 seconds to get up to that speed, so the acceleration isn't really there, but the speed is very nice. It's as fast as Maverick. Then you get to the actual rollback section of the ride, which it's technically a rollback, but compared to OG Dragster, it's just not the same, because this one, you only go a little bit up, and on the OG one, you would go pretty much the entirety up the tower and then fall all the way back down. You're maybe only 200 feet up the tower, if that, and you're not even completely vertical in the air. I just feel that the first launch could have had a little bit more power. That's just me, but nothing wrong with it. Still a good launch, and it leads to the best part of the ride for me. The backwards section, even though the fall isn't a lot, it's still cool going backwards, and that second launch is out of this world. I just can't describe it. Launching backwards is such an odd sensation, and going over 100 miles per hour is just magnificent. Gliding across the track is absurdly fun. Instead of getting pressed against your seat like a normal launch, you're almost getting pushed out. It's so weird. This really gets me excited for other swing launches since I'm riding Pantheon later this summer, and I'm so excited for that ride now. But you fly up the 420-foot spike, which is like nothing else. You rise up and really don't think about it, but it's way up there, and it's so tall. Like, off-ride, it's obviously tall, but on-ride, even though you're not even 420 feet up, you're like maybe 380, it's still incredibly tall. And just on the spike alone, you're already taller than Millie, which is mind-boggling. And then on top of all that, you have this floaty sensation the entire time. It's almost like airtime. It's wonderful. And don't even get me started on the views either. You can see everybody below you. They look like ants, and if you look right in front of you, you can see a lot of the park from up there. This is a top-tier element. You fall down and hit the final launch, which is just a different level of speed. You rocket up to 120 miles per hour, and there's nothing else even close to what I've experienced. It's just so fast. I can't put it in any other way. And that OG Dragster launch must have been so intense, because if I think this is intense, going from 0 to 120 must have been insane. Then you rocket up the top hat, which the G-forces pulled here are crazy and super intense. But other than that, it's just a super intense moment. But you get to the top of the actual element, and you get crazy airtime 420 feet up. It's legit strong ejector and sustain, which is crazy because of the elements that follow. You take a 270-degree roll towards the ground, which is a top 3 whippiest element that I've ever been on, and no exaggeration, it's crazy. And you still have that insane ejector from earlier. It's just an insane compilation of forces, truly amazing stuff. But after that, you go into the long brake run, and that ends your ride on the new and improved Top Thrill 2. Overall, this is a great ride. I never rode the original Dragster, but I think this is a great replacement for the size of land and to pay homage to the previous rides before it. But the actual experience from start to finish is also really good. I didn't think it was too short, and it was an incredible adrenaline rush. Now, I do have some gripes with it. It's not perfect. I think that during the launches, there should have been some airtime hills thrown in, like other Intamins. But overall, it's a great ride. Can't complain. It's a solid 8 out of 10 in my book, and personally, the 4th best ride at Cedar Point, just behind Millie, Maverick, and Steel Vengeance. Thanks for watching. Tell me what you think of Top Thrill 2. Sorry for kind of the shorter video, but Top Thrill 2 isn't really the longest ride out there. But tell me if you think it's elite, if it's not good, or anything in between. But other than that, have a good day.